Good evening. This is like week 7 or 8 of West Coast Swing. So tonight we worked just a lot more on our connection. So we didn't do a whole lot in the way of moves, but we did talk a lot about how we want to stretch the connection more in order to feel a lot of these leads and follows better. So one of the main things we talked about is, again, wanting to be weighted over my heels to be in this tension frame and over the balls of my feet to be in compression. And so in order to play with this a little bit, we worked on just kind of bouncing back and forth a little bit here. And then what we talked about was boinging our partner. And so what I want to do with this is before I started moving, we kind of just stretch the limits of that tension, right? Not so much that I'm going, but just kind of really feeling like I'm pulling that rubber band. And then when I'm ready, we move on into the actual sugar push. And then from here we talked about, okay, now coming into this compression frame, can I do the same thing that we did in tension in compression? So either kind of moving into tension, back to compression, into tension, back to compression from here, and then I can go back into my tension frame again, right? And I can either choose to boing, or I can choose to move into compression and tension, and kind of play there. Rather than these are two opportunities for us to play with that change from tension to compression. The next thing we talked about was then moving from side to side in both of these locations. So either from here, right, I can do my simple, just take a side step, or do something a little more complicated if I wanted to. Same thing as pulling into that compression place in our sugar push, right? And again, I can just take a side step, or I can take a side step, right, and move on from there. From there, we talked about being able to do some more advanced stuff, right? And then how do I transition that? So if we wanted to do the move we did a few classes ago, where we do that first part of the sugar push into compression, and then do an underarm turn, right? What I want to do is I want to start going 1, 2, starting to build that compression, right, so that it eases through, but effectively coming to the same point in that compression, making a clear sign this way, and then returning back, right, so we can kind of finish out that move. So we really want to work on is, how can I keep this smaller so that my lead and my follow is more clear, that there's less noise either up and down or me wiggling or whatever's going on, but try and keep it quiet, really work on that compression to tension, identifying what are the opportunities. If I'm here in compression, right, I don't necessarily always have to move back here. I can choose to leave the follow, but I can build that tension back up again. We talked a bit about how, that I'm engaging my lats in order to maintain that connection as well. So then from all of that, the last thing we talked about is addressing. Where addressing is where I'm tracking where on the floor my partner is so that I don't find myself overextended. So the move we used to practice that was sort of a right side pass to a lunge to anchor step, and it's not really a real move. But I start with my right side pass going 1, 2, 3, holding, and then lunging forward to catch my partner. And what I want to note here is that my partner is directly, kind of at my shoulder level, and not way past here, so that I have the opportunity now to either do something like push back into tension to compression, right, or even kind of changing it up. I could do it this way, right? There's plenty of options for me from this catch to play with that tension compression option, and then we just kind of bailed out. So just sending the follow back where you came from and anchor step. So that was it for the most part tonight. Just kind of playing with those points, working on that connection, and then finding the opportunities in your dance we can play. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.